confirm or deny, this morning's extension between Brandon Hagel and the Tampa Bay Lightning is an overpay with a AAV of $6.5 million.
8-year deal, $6.5 mil. You know what? Brandon Hagel, in a lot of ways, you can make the case they overpaid to get him at the trade deadline, right? They gave up 2 first-round picks, including Taylor Radish, who's turned out to be a 20-goal scorer, led 20-goal scorer for Chicago this year. And except, Hagel is still making $1.5 million this coming season.
Right.
Made him 1.5 last year when he got 30. And they believe in the guy. Like he was essentially, playing on their top line or one of their top, maybe their top 2 lines. He's playing with their best players. You can make the case as a complimentary piece, but he's still in his 24-year-old season here. So I'm going to say it's not an overpay. I'm going to say if I'm going to believe in one cap manager on this planet right now, it's going to be Julien Brisebois and the Tampa Bay Lightning. They do have problems. They're capped out just like everybody else. They got Stamkos going to be a free agent at the end of this year, and that's going to be problematic. But they've obviously built a belief in this guy. And who am I to say, look, if he's a 30-goal guy that they think can be more than that with upside, who plays great on both sides of the puck, makes some sense to me.
I'm going to deny it as well. I think the conversation about 8-year deals is another conversation. But when you look at balancing that out, if you've got him performing for 6 of those 8 years, you get into the last few years of that deal, $6.5 million is a bargain. Mm-hmm. Who knows where the salary cap is going to be at that point?
Exactly.
You put yourself in a good position for a guy that you believe in. It doesn't seem like it's an overpay, maybe an overcommitment, but I mean, I'm saying that for a lot of these 8-year deals in general. But
hey, man,
overpay, that's good money, man. That's the market.
Leafs would be happy if some of their guys took an 8-year deal.
Oh, wouldn't they ever? Although the finances would, the admin would have to figure it out. It'd be a lot. You think like the Leafs got to pay accountants more, eh?
They pay everybody more. They pay everybody more.
Toronto premium. All right, confirm or deny. If the Toronto Blue Jays miss the playoffs, one of Ross Atkins or John Schneider should be on the hot seat.
Oh, this is 100% confirmed. I mean,
Smash.
you were the presumptive AL East champions. A lot of people had you pegged to be a World Series winner, let alone contender. And right now you're out of the playoff picture today as you head into this 3-game series in Baltimore. So, you know what? And I think if we're looking at the way the tea leaves are, being read right now, it's probably not going to be Atkins, right? Like the easy move when you've had an underachieving season where you just didn't catch that spark, you just didn't find any magic for whatever reason, you didn't hit, and so far they haven't. It's Schneider, right? Like the problem with Schneider is he's got a guy named Donnie Baseball standing in the dugout who's been a major league manager and is a Yankee legend. That's a problem for John Schneider. If this team underachieves, guess what? Donnie Baseball will be managing it.
I always thought that was an interesting appointment. You definitely want to have trusted guys around somebody who's learning on the fly in ways that Schneider has, but obviously the connection that Schneider has to those players, particularly the core that you want from, I always felt like it was a good balance, that if they really thought it would get out of hand or if there was an ego thing, that they wouldn't have put the two of them in that situation. Mm-hmm. I think baseball is changing where executives don't have the hold on jobs that they did, the tenure in which. And Ross Atkins has been sitting in that job for a long time now.
Yeah.
Right? And not that the cobwebs are collecting, but there's like a long Rolodex now of deals and moves that you can look to criticize, much like Masai Ujiri, you would say. And I feel as though maybe Atkins is more on the hot seat. The answer to this is confirmed because it wasn't I don't think it was Andor.
No.
So I'm saying that of the two, though, I think that Atkins might be under a little more pressure.
Yeah. Well, Brian Cashman says, he's been 25 years on the job, and you think Ross Atkins has been in it too long. He's one of the young punks in the game, according to Cashman.
I just think, I know. I just think that you're starting to see decisions move quicker in baseball. It used to be the slow sport, and these guys could hold those jobs for such a long time. And now you look at someone like, to me, Dave Dombrowski wasn't that far removed from being someone who you just have a 10-year job.
Sure.
And then the next one was shorter. And then the next one, and the guys that replaced him, their jobs, their 10 years are shorter. And I just feel like it's going that way. And you're seeing this in other sports, like crazy.
100%.
We used to see soccer coaches in the Premier League. 10 years if you were good. Now 10 years would make you a legend. Like no one's sticking around that long anymore.
Yeah, no, it's a fair point. The only thing I would say, to this is they can't put their finger on what the problem is, right? So it's a bit of voodoo. Fire the manager and change up the culture.
Yeah.
Right.
You're not saying that that's where they're headed, though.
Well, if they miss the playoffs, that's where they're headed. I can confirm that 100%. Like you have to do something.
Yeah.
When you underachieve this grossly, like if it's heading toward that, right now you're out of the playoffs, but you're only a game back, and you got all kinds of good things to look forward to here, including after this 3-game series, you got a bunch of series against a bunch of bottom of the barrel teams where you should be able to gain ground or at least hold ground. There's all kinds of optimistic outlooks here, but if we want to be pessimistic, someone's getting fired.
It makes good radio, that's for sure. And also, apologies, Grappler, I read it wrong. Yeah, you did say or, which means one of. So I've gone with Atkins, you've gone with Schneider. Again, great talk radio. Confirm or deny, Dave, Austin Matthews will sign an extension before December the 1st.
I got to confirm that.
Yeah?
Everything that we've been led to believe. He says he wants to be here. The club obviously wants to keep him. Look, it's on Austin Matthews, right? If he wants to chisel them for every last nickel and get particular about the term and really try and come out with, the best deal he can financially, guess what? It's going to hurt the team. There's going to be blowback in this town because he got too greedy. And that's not going to be good for anybody.
Mm-hmm.
If he wants to just take the modest deal he should take, which would be, by the way, the highest cap hit in the league. Everybody was fine with that. But you got to do what McKinnon did. You take a small bump on the industry standard, and you move on. Make your money elsewhere. You got your Bet 99 contract. You got your RBC, golden turtleneck. You're good. You got money coming out the wazoo. Don't take more off the cap at a moment like this when you haven't proven anything in the playoffs. As long as that's I can't imagine a scenario where that kind of sense hasn't been talked to him. But then again, stranger things have happened.
Stranger things have happened. I think that's why I'm betting the opposite
Okay.
side. I'm denying that it gets done before December the 1st because I do believe that Austin Matthews thinks the urgency is on the team. And so if there are things that are holding it up, he doesn't feel that he has to rush things or make major concessions. Sure, there are some, and I do think it's been presented to him, what concessions would benefit the team and put him in a better position to win. But I just don't think these kids are rushed, man. These guys aren't rushed to make decisions like the stars of the past were. It's a different mindset. He's still going to go out there and perform and maybe have another elite season, match what he did last season.
Still hasn't scored in the second round, so it wasn't that elite.
There is that. Yeah, I guess I need to choose my words better, my friend. Confirm or deny? Let's go back to this one. John Herdman would be a good fit as Toronto FC head coach. Can I bat lead off here?
You please do.
I am going to confirm that he would be a good fit. That is the question. But I deny that it's the right move for all parties.
Oh, okay.
I do think that he'd be walking into a situation, John Herdman in Toronto, that is almost as tumultuous as Canada soccer. The difference being they'll write checks quicker. But
they're not talking about bankruptcy at MLSE last I checked.
But money doesn't solve everything.
Well,
and there's a wise rap song that said more money, more problems. And I just think...
No, I don't think Larry Tannenbaum looks at life that way, but okay.
No, I don't think Larry Tannenbaum looks at life that way, but John Herdman has had to look at coaching in Canada in ways that people of his ilk and in his position don't do in other places.
Yeah.
And at TFC, particularly with the turmoil that's gone on this season, with the change that's coming, like you're going from one rocky and uncomfortable situation to another, the difference being the one you're in. I think there's a familiarity to chaos, right? I'm not saying stay in the bad relationship because you don't want to see if the grass is greener on the other side. But in this situation, I just think it's not going to be John Herdman's here. They're back to the top. John Herdman's back to the playoffs. He's going to get us better Canadian kids. it would be rocky. And it's on him to weigh whether it's more rocky at the national program. Arguably it is than at TFC. But I think I deny that it's the best fit for all parties.
Well, I confirm that he would be a good fit. I think John Herdman's skill is building from the bottom, I think. He built, you can argue you built the women's program up from the bottom. Maybe not the bottom. They had Christine Sinclair. It wasn't like they had some.
I know what you meant, but he certainly took them to heights in which it didn't seem they could reach.
Took them to heights. And he's certainly been a big part of building the men's program. Now, obviously, the players do most of that. I'm not suggesting that they don't, but he's really good, I think, as a up-and-comer. He's good as an underdog. He's good as a motivational guy.
Yep.
And I think, now that he's reached a height where he's expected to win matches in the World Cup with a pretty talented roster in Canada, life gets tougher. The tactical questions get harder. And he doesn't always have answers. He certainly hasn't shown the answers for him. And then the stuff about bleep Croatia and all the rest of it, the judgment in big moments is something you question too. But look, man, you can get the sense, you watch the women's team and their exasperation with Canada soccer. You watch how the men's team and the lead up to their World Cup was waylaid by the Iran problem and the player strike and all the rest of it. You can understand how working around that place can get tiring.
100%.
And the idea of the bottomless pit of money that is MLSE being your next destination after you've come from a place where they can't seem to find two nickels to rub together for whatever reason. And I know it's complicated. Yeah, I think it would be a good fit for John Herdman. I think it would be a good fit for MLSE because it's a PR win.
We'll talk about that with Josh Cloak a little bit later. He's going to join us at 6:30. But to continue with Confirm or Deny, I was excited for this one. Confirm or Deny, putting Aaron Rodgers in a preseason game is a mistake by the New York Jets.
Oh, I'll deny that. I mean, you gotta get a couple reps in, don't you? I mean, I guess, if he's that fragile, if Mr. Dark Room Retreat and Mr. Ayahuasca Adventure can't handle a few downs in a preseason game, then we got a problem, right?
Are people call him Mr. Ayahuasca?
He's certainly synonymous with it.
But that's become a nickname?
Well, I'm certainly calling him that. I don't know if anybody else is.
Okay.
But, look, Aaron Rodgers, he can handle this. If he can handle a week in a dark room or whatever the hell he did, and he can handle the hallucinogenic effects of that ancient ritual that he partook in, I think he can handle a preseason game. How much of a bubble wrap society are we living in where we don't even want our best QB to have one down in a preseason game?
Yeah, I'm with you on that. I think that new team, new setup, new players, you got to get some practice in there in a game scenario. And this is a guy that wants to play. I know he hasn't played in the preseason since 2018, but he's someone that wants to play for his guys. And in a brand new situation that he's walking himself into, you got to get him some reps in the game. So I don't have a problem with it. FanDuel has the over-under for Connor Bedard goals set at 31.5. So confirm or deny, he hits the over and scores at least 32 goals in his rookie NHL season.
Oh, I'm going to confirm that.
32 goals in his rookie season?
I like Mr. Bedard to rip it up.
Really?
In his rookie season.
Does he have a team that's going to put a lot of pucks in the net, though?
I mean, that is a concern. There's no doubt that is a concern. I mean, they got some babysitters there for him. They got Corey Perry there, who will, hopefully, ideally will be a bit of a policeman and put a stick into the ribs of anybody that tries to mess with young Bedard.
Right.
They got, Foligno there to help out and be a bit of a babysitter. But look, I just think the league is going toward a place where we were talking with Marty Biron. They used 100-plus goaltenders in this league last year.
Yeah.
The save percentage has been dwindling year by year. The goal total went up in a big way league-wide last season. I feel like I hope, and part of this is my own personal hope. I've been railing against the dead puck era, or I railed against it when it was here. I'm happy it's gone, And I hope we go toward a more offensive era in hockey because I like the idea of people challenging records and scoring multiple 50-goal seasons in their careers and that type of thing. But this guy can shoot, man. And I think the shot transfers. I think a lot of things are tough to adjust to in the NHL for rookies, but the shot transfers, man. Like the shot is the shot, and he's got a world-class shot walking into the league. He'll need to develop a lot of other things, but the shot's there.
How much of the confidence you have in him comes from how well Connor McDavid adjusted to the NHL? Because I think no one denied that he would be elite and could be a superstar.
Yeah.
But no one thought he'd make it look like Junior, which he does on a nightly basis, blowing through guys the same way he did in an Erie Otters sweater.
Yeah, and that's, I don't know about this, like skating, and we'll see about Bedard's skating. Like McDavid is the greatest skater we've ever seen, right? And look, what did McDavid, I guess, first season played 45 games, got 16 goals. Second, so really didn't get a full 82. The first full 82-game season Connor McDavid played, he got 30 goals. And guess what? Bedard's a way better shooter than Connor McDavid. He is already. So, yeah, you're right. Like, they're going to be a bad team. Maybe hard to find ice. But if he finds it, he can score.
He can shoot. A lot of guys in the league wish they had a shot like that. They'd be up in their...
I'd say 90% of the league wishes they had a shot like that.
Of course. They'd be up in their goal totals and upping their pay considerably if they shot like that. But I just think in rookie season, man, I think it's hard. I'm going to go the under.
Okay.
I deny that he'd be able to do the over for some of the factors that we hit and the fact that, yeah, it isn't the best team. But who knows? We'll wait and see, man. They're a team worth watching. He is definitely worth the price of admission. And I don't think they're going to be bad for a long time. I don't think that we're talking about them winning a cup in the next 5 years.
Yeah, they could be bad. I mean, I don't see a pipeline there of, like, it's not like it was.
You got a player like that, you can attract people, though.
You ideally. But, like, the last time they really needed to turn it around, when those two guys named Jonathan Taves and Patrick Kane came to town as youngsters, they also had, umpteen other guys in the organization, and they quickly became this team that won 3 Stanley Cups in a 6-year span.
Mm-hmm.
So they're not there right now.
They're not there now, but I'm glad that he's in the show and we can watch Connor Bedard.